Hello and welcome back, and in this lecture we're going to learn how to utilize the keywords that we found right now in the Tubebuddy for our video. So let's just jump into the video now. So we're back with our Affinity versus Adobe example, and I assume that you actually found all the keywords that more or less describe what your video is all about. So in this case, because I don't have a lot of choice, because my video is very specific. It's Affinity versus Adobe or Adobe versus Affinity. That's it. Or you can just add a year for 2021 or for 2022, for year 2020, whatever it is. That's all that there is. There's not much. And for that reason, I actually filled out this tag list with the names of the software as well, which is not the best thing to do, but at least you can try. Because it's more or less related to the video and it's not like completely against the video. So you can actually do this as well. It won't hurt you that much. However, the tag placement here is a bit wrong, but in this video, we're going to talk about something different. We're going to talk about using these tags actually in the titles and description, because it's far more important to use it there than to use it here. So now, first things first, you need to identify from these tags right here which one is the longest tail keyword and which one identifies and explains your video the most. So in my case, will be Affinity versus Adobe. And in this case, I'm going to be using a year as well. So in this case, like Adobe versus Affinity or Affinity versus Adobe, in my case, I choose this Affinity versus Adobe in 2021, but however, I could choose this one as well. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You can choose any one of them and it will work fine. However, because in this video I actually focus more on Affinity size, why Affinity is actually better than Adobe, I chose to put Affinity before Adobe. And to be fair, it doesn't really matter, but in this case, it actually showed, because we are ranking number 2 for Affinity versus Adobe and number 6 for Adobe versus Affinity. Well, it is what it is. We don't know exactly how YouTube will work. We don't know how viewers will work, because viewers usually decide what ranks high, what not YouTube. On the contrary, I believe, because when viewers are watching your videos, YouTube is just reacting accordingly. It's not that they decide whom to put on top and whom to put on bottom. It's just how YouTube just reacts to the viewers. So I know that this Affinity versus Adobe 2021 is the best keyword for my video. And what did I do here is I put Affinity versus Adobe in 2021 as the title. So usually what you should do with titles when you are titling your video, you should title your videos in 2 different sentences. First is explaining basically exactly what your video is, and second is just creating a problem, or maybe just making your video's description a bit better. So in this case is best Adobe alternative and 5 reasons why. So this is just to incite people to watch, to incite curiosity of the people, to make them find out why the Affinity is actually better than Adobe. So in this case, I used it right here. However, I did one thing completely wrong, and you shouldn't do as well. You see, the first few lines of your description actually shows up in the search. I'm gonna show you right now. So let's go with Affinity versus Adobe. As you can see, my video popped up right here, and it actually could pop up right here. But you see, what do you see right here? Just pause and tell me what you see right here. You already know, but still. What you see is that not just the title is visible, but first 2 lines of a description as well. So in this case, it's Affinity photo, which one is basically everything until this one. This is visible in the search ranking as well. And more importantly, when you go, you see that it's actually highlighted. I'm gonna disable the dark page here. Oh, but it's still dark. It doesn't matter because it's YouTube's dark, but not in my case. But as you can see, it's barely visible, but Affinity and Adobe and Adobe and Adobe and Affinity, they are actually a bit bold compared to everything else. So that means that this text actually factors in ranking as well. So that's what you should be doing as well. You should put your main keyword in the first few lines as well. That's what you should do. So in my case, I did it a bit different way. Did it a bit wrong way maybe. I did like Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and Affinity Publisher versus Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe InDesign. I just made it very, very long. What I could do instead is Affinity Affinity versus Adobe 2021. Just put a line and then make everything else go this way. This is exactly the same way we could do. We're just gonna press save, just in case. And I'm gonna show you why I did press save, because sometimes when you do this, you actually go up in ranking just for no reason, or maybe it's a reason there. So let's just see if we went up, because this video is pretty old and it might actually go down in ranking, but sometimes it just works, it just helps. So in this case it didn't help, but it might help in just a few hours as well. And in a few hours the video might go up in ranking for these keywords. So we just know that you can actually do that, and you need to put your main keyword, not keywords, main keyword on the top, on the first few lines. And more you will use it organically, the better it is. Not just write affinity versus Adobe. Don't do that, it won't work. You should put it more organically there. So in this case, it's more or less organic. Let's see if it already changed right here. Let's refresh it. It actually didn't. Actually didn't just yet. Maybe let's refresh it again, because sometimes it takes like 2-3 minutes. Sometimes it takes a few hours. So in this case, it hasn't changed. But when it will change, we might actually go up in ranking. By the way, by the end of the lecture, it might already went up, but let's see how it will continue. Now, next important thing that you should be using with your Tubebuddy is not the Tubebuddy's feature itself, but you should be using it as well. If you go down in my, basically whatever I'm doing right here, is that you'll see something very interesting. The topics in this video basically graph, and you see that there are actually different names right here. And if you look a bit closer, you can see that these are exactly the same keywords that I use in tags. So what I basically did right here, I took the tags, copied it, put it right here, put them on separate line, put a dot in front of it to make it look just better, to make it look like it's about two topics in the video. What I did instead, what I did in reality is I put my keywords not just in tags, but in the description as well. And putting your tags in a description has far more power than just leaving them in the tags. That's the secret, guys and girls. That's the secret. You need to put it right here. To be fair, you actually need to put it more on top. Let's see, like in this case, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take Control X here. It's going to take right here. I'm going to put this one and put Control V right here. I want like the more important, like affinity, no, we don't really want affinity. The more important the tag is, the higher it should be in the list. It won't affect that much because these first few lines are far more important. And my grammar said that I need to put a comma there. First few lines are far more important, but still put it on the top. It will be much better. This is actually a secret. This is actually how you use the keywords. You don't need to actually stuff it like that, like I did, but you need to do one more thing right here that we're going to be explaining in the next lecture, because this is not a good tag list. There's one thing that is not guaranteedly affecting your tags and your rankings, but it might affect because it's a good practice that you should always use. Another thing that you can actually use that is a bit of a secret that has nothing to do with the Tubebuddy is that you need to add your videos in a lot of different playlists. So in this case, if you open it, you see YouTube Creator, Affinity Suite, like you have a lot of different playlists. You can put it in a lot of different playlists. And if you will create a playlist named Affinity versus Adobe, that I'm gonna be doing just right now. Affinity versus Adobe, create. And I can actually create Adobe versus Affinity as well. This is a little secret that has nothing to do with the Tubebuddy, but still, these two playlist names actually rank in search as well. So you can just put your keywords in playlists too, and this will actually help you tremendously. And in addition, if in the future, let's say if I will create something more specific, let's say I will create a video about Affinity Photo versus Adobe Photoshop, I can put just the same video in this playlist, and it will help this video to be available in suggested videos of the future video as well. I don't know if it makes sense, but case in point is that names of the playlists are rank factors as well, and you should consider them as well. This is what it is, and this is how you should use the tags of your Tubebuddy in the keywords. And in the next lecture, we're actually going to discuss SEO Studio, and I'm actually going to show you how I know all this stuff, because SEO Studio actually helped me to do that. So I'm going to see you in the next lecture. Hello and welcome to the bonus lecture, and this is where I have an amazing deals for you for Tubebuddy. So first things first, you probably want to know and learn how Tubebuddy's different licenses actually work, and I have an option for you to use Tubebuddy license. Any license, doesn't matter, will be pro, will be star, will be legend, it's up to you. You can just go and start with a legend if you want to see everything that Tubebuddy has to offer for absolutely free. And with this, I want to give you an exclusive free trial for a Tubebuddy. This will be 1 month free trial. You will be given access to all of the tools of the Tubebuddy, and it will be great if you'll use it for this course as well, to use in everything that I taught you in this course. Just don't forget to cancel your trial in the end if you feel like you don't want to pay for Tubebuddy. Just write it as a reminder a few days before the trial will expire, just to cancel it before you will be charged. By the way, this deal is for everyone who either never registered on Tubebuddy or who has never paid for Tubebuddy. Any one of those people can use this. However, if you paid in the past or are paying right now and want to decrease the price of Tubebuddy, I have a great deal for you as well. You can use the coupon code NYXSONBuddy. I will have it, of course, in the course materials, and I will have the link directly that will take you there. You can just use the code NYXSONBuddy and it will take 20% off from any plan. It doesn't matter what plan you have. It will be like will be for pro, will be for star or legend, or will be monthly or annually. It doesn't matter. It will take 20% off. If you want the maximum savings, if you feel like that you will be using Tubebuddy for a really long time, choose annual subscription for any license and apply your coupon there, because it's gonna make your deal even better. If you haven't paid for Tubebuddy, go and get the free trial, because you have literally nothing to lose. Plus, you're gonna get access to one of the best YouTube tools available on the market. Well, this will be it for the bonus lecture, and I'm gonna see you in the next lecture or in the next course, whichever comes first. Take care.